Hey, Coach Abel here with World Champion Kevin the Machine Weiss, the Abel Body Experts. I don't know what part we're at, Coach, part 5 or 4 or something, on our segments about how Coach did his actual application to win the World Championships and break a couple world records. So we're talking specifically about this triangle of overshoot training, tapering, and reading biofeedback. Which was very, very important. So we're just going to continue the conversation. I wanted to break it up because, not just because we were going over time, but because we're throwing so much important stuff. I think the little details that we take for granted, a lot of people might be missing. So the overshoot phenomenon leads to tapering. This is why I wanted to talk about it, because it's counterintuitive to what most neophytes or amateurs want to do out there. They think when they hit a wall, they should go harder, do more. Basically what you did is you started an approach, and we'll watch my hand here. You came up like this in terms of frequency. You plateaued the frequency deliberately until you specifically felt feedback that was no longer positive. It wasn't negative, it just, the body got more sore, the weights felt heavier. Even though you could lift the same weights, they were quote unquote feeling heavier, which I'm always talking about biofeedback. At that point you said, that's the message I need to listen to. And you started tapering back off, lighter weights, longer rests, and then that led to peaking and breaking the World Championships.
And even in the last part of that, what would be considered the taper or the peak of it, there's literally no training. So it comes right down to where.
How many days did you go no training?
For my deadlift, I didn't deadlift the last 15 days, I think.
Right.
And for bench press and squat, I didn't train for 8 days.
So I hope everyone heard that. He didn't squat or bench for 8 days. He didn't deadlift for 15 days, and he ended up breaking 6 Canadian records, 2 world records. And it's funny because just this week alone, I have instructed a couple of my clients to taper their training because they're doing a lot of complexes. So if they're doing a quadplex, I'm having them taper to a triplex, to a biplex, and then to it. And their response to me is, do I have to? It's just like, they don't know how to read biofeedback. They think it's all about punishing themselves. And usually the result of that is never a good thing.
Yeah, the more is better doesn't always necessarily pan out. Right,
especially the more punishment is better.
Yeah.
So you learn to work with your body. So this is a real world example of 2 things. Overshoot phenomena, 3 things actually. Overshoot phenomena of training application, tapering in order to produce peak performance, and how to read biofeedback. And I don't think you're going to find something like that anywhere on the internet in terms of real world application. Check out my book, The Abel Approach, for more on this. And I thank you, Coach, for lending your expertise here on how you did it. I don't know how many people are going to understand what we're talking about. Anything to add on that triangle, the biofeedback and the overshoot and the taper?
Well, the biggest thing with it is it takes time and practice to learn your own body and how to do that. So if you can find a qualified coach that can help you read those signs,
thank you.
That makes a big difference too, because this isn't something that you can read in a book and decide, okay, this is how I'm going to do it. That day that I went in and did my heaviest lifts, and I didn't know that was going to be my heaviest workout when I went in.
But you knew after? After
I knew. And I'm lucky enough that I can read that. Not everybody is going to be experienced enough or have the real world experience to be able to do that.
Well, and that's important because I'm in my 4th decade. You're in how many decades now?
Probably it's getting 3 anyways.
3 decades. So, if you're going to benefit from experience, benefit from this kind of experience. Hire a coach if you don't know how to do this, and trust me, most of you don't. This has been a Coach 'em Up, Coffee with the Coaches on overshoot training, tapering for World Championships, breaking world records, and reading biofeedback with World Champion Kevin the Machine Weiss of the Abel Body Experts.